Hey guys, it's Matt. I just as I was putting this headset on, I thought, wouldn't it be great if they could make one that comes with a full head of hair or toupee? You just place your headset on, a beautiful head of hair it's built into the cradle here. I don't know why they don't have that. If Staples, I probably would buy that if Staples had it available. Guys, this is a serious video for SCRIOUS. Serious video for a change, Matt. So this channel's devolved into a clown show. We have to laugh at it. We have to laugh at it, lest we cry. That's like the type of speech that the Rings of Power, the second grade Shakespearean speech that Rings of Power tries to pass off with their ruse. Okay, let's get serious. All right, this is Reality Shorts, half page reality shorts. So reality understanding it. Well, not understanding is a half page. Once you understand it and you've been through the bog and you've done all the investigation and you've run its maze as long as you come out, it is a half page when you come out of it. You can't possibly understand the half page unless you've been through the bog. Minimum 5 years. I would say more like 10. You just don't accept the half page if you haven't been through it all. And even then, I don't think most people in the truth community will ever accept the half page. And I'm saying it like it's definitive of this is it, but I strongly believe in it. And it hasn't, once I've kind of put it to the half page or so 2 years ago, I haven't changed it at all, really. So basically, let's do the reality shorts here. This life is a script, okay? Somehow it lays forth its script on the masses. Now, let's just assume everybody's real for now, whether some people are not like you, the George Bush creatures, NPCs, whatever it may be, we'll leave that for another time. Reality lays down a script and it gets most people to follow it almost to the T. I think a very simple meaning of life mission, if I had to write my own personal meaning of life in just a few sentences, it would basically be to break the script. You went into this reality. Did you follow the script like everybody else? Or did you break the script? And I don't mean the basic script of go to college, gra- graduate college, get a good job, go into $800,000 of debt. I'm not talking about that script. That is the most basic of scripts. I'm saying people's thoughts and actions aren't their own for the most part. And what happens, the key part of this presentation is this part here. What happens is when you start to separate from the script, whether you're an old soul or ready to graduate out of here. Of course, I'm saying this definitively like I know. It's just my opinion, but it's based on a lot of research. Czars come to tangle in the cord. A ton of research over a long period of time. I've been through the bog thicker and deeper than almost anybody. And um, see, reality's trying to pull me off the script right now. I completely forget what I was going to say. Reality is a script and it wants you to follow and read your cue cards. Now, once we start to separate from this script and see it as ridiculous, the default in the truth community is to see everything as fake. See, this is the main part of this presentation. I'm saying it's not fake most times. It's just that, well, of course, there are events that are completely staged. I'm aware of this. This is my first rodeo. We don't need to go into that. We all know the famous ones that are completely staged. I'm talking about, in general, all the things that go on in life, culture, and society. We believe it's a fake because we just can't comprehend that, no, it's not. It's a script that's being laid down. And the script, there it's showing its ass again. The script becomes very artificial to us. In some ways, it becomes comical to us. So we don't understand that it's not fake with all these minions of the system and the screen in on it. It's fake to us because we're, without even realizing it, we're noticing that it's a script being laid down here. I don't the truthers that say everything's fake, they don't realize that. What they're doing and what's happening to them, in my opinion, is they are separating from the script. So as the ship of fools sails, as they get farther and farther away from it, it just starts to break down. It looks absurd. It looks fake. Well, that person's making a fake presentation, or they're saying at something at a podium they truly don't believe. What I'm saying is the person at the podium does believe it. They didn't get any secret instructions or anything like that. It's just that the truth person is starting to separate themselves from the script. And then the only way these actions, this bizarre actions of all that goes on in society can be explained is it's fake, or that, oh, that person's in on it, or he's working with this. 99 point whatever percent, it's not fake, because meaning it is fake if you back up far enough for millions of miles away and look down on the snow globe. The whole reality construct is fake, but their actions, they believe are their own, but they're not their own. There's a script that runs here, very similar to the themes we've talked about in the past of the download. They tune themselves to the ideal frequency of what the not nilk wants. For some reason, everybody's been asking, or one person pops up in every video recently, what's not nilk? It's Clinton backwards. There's something out here that is the script layer, like the brick layer, that you can't point at. It's not any one secret society. All these different minions of the system serve it. It's like a general screen or something that can't be pointed at. And it is very dark. It is the corrupter. It's very similar to a Christian's view of Satan. It doesn't deserve a flattering name. It's just not Nilk. It's Clinton backwards. So it's this. Let's just go back. Just 30-second summary of what this presentation is. It's very simple. The reality itself, per the screen, lays down a script. Most people, and I'll give you some examples. We'll follow some examples of the script in just a moment. Most people follow it. They're not getting any instructions. They weren't talked to by men in black. They're just following it. They know not what they do. They're on the download. They're on the frequency. People that investigate truth, there's all different facets and subsets of what we do, all different areas of interest. But generally, they see, of course, something. They don't won't go to where I am, that oh, this is a script of some kind. They'll say, well, there's a lot of things wrong here, but the only way to explain it within their bookends is, well, this group is in on it and they're being directed by this secret society. And no, they're not. They're just doing what the reality from the screen level wants. The truther that's making those observations is themselves doing the right thing for themselves. They're taking the right steps. They're separating from the script. But so it looks foreign to them. It looks strange. But the only way to explain it is people running around, plotting and planning smoking rooms in on it. When what they're noticing is just that they are taking, or they're doing the right thing for themselves, separating from the reality. But they have a lot more to do. We have a lot more to do. I think the reality, the not milk, isn't stupid. It sees what certain people in the truth community are doing, and then what will it do? It will put forth its graduated animal farms, it will put forth its endless bog, its endless things to research. It will give explanations, saying, it will insert into the truth community. It goes into the room, and I'm going to say it that way, into the truth community. It'll insert that this, oh, look at this dark group. Oh, that must be it. Look at this dark. It'll insert all the bad guys. And then you can chase them basically forever. It'll give you all the breadcrumbs you'll ever want for the rest of your life. It'll insert the dark forces that this must be doing. It knows what carrot it can put on its end of its stick to drive the truth community. And of course, I've fallen for it many times. I'm sure I still fall for it right now. We're coming out of it. We're getting better in our observations. We're making less mistakes, I believe. And I do know one thing for sure that I'll never back up from. Does anybody want to see Zara? Um, if if it's presented as complicated, then that is one of the main deceptions of this reality. Any truth channel or anybody that presents it as complicated, extremely hard to follow, it's the opposite. I mean, it's just presenting the answers as complicated is one of its main blocking and tackling distraction, runs up the middle in the playbook. Just make it seem too the more complicated it gets, the simpler it gets. if you just back up from it. And I'm at the point now where it is beyond simple. Um, the simplest way I've put it recently, and I do believe this, or I wouldn't be talking about it, is you come into this. We existed before this lifetime, of course. We come into this is a very low existence, a very low. I mean, we just don't. We've been in the body so long. It's very similar to what Agent Smith said. That he's like, Agent Smith, when Agent Smith somehow transformed into a quote real body. I think the character's name in the Matrix was Bane. It's like, how do you? I'm not even going to try to do that character. I can't do it. How do you stand the stench and the we? It's we get used to it, but it is. I hate it. I hate. This is if you're eating or something, you should come back and listen. This is. It's not that gross, but it's gross. But I have to do this. I'm sorry. I have to do this. It has to do with, the pot going there. I'm sorry. This is necessary. You know, go to the pot, stand up, and that tells you right there, this is a low place. Okay. That is that the same as the eclipse in terms of the spiritual message? No. Is it in the vicinity? To me, it is. It tells me we can enjoy. I enjoy nature. This I'm looking right now. These trees are turning yellow. There's poplars here, tulip poplars or yellow poplars. They turn mostly yellow, and the oaks here turn yellow. There's not as much red. It's not nearly as beautiful as Vermont and New Hampshire and places like that. But it's just it is. There is elements of nature that are just beautiful here. I go watch a little chipmunk do its thing or squirrel. No doubt the game board. We'll talk about it some other time. I don't know, but overall, our experience in the human body it's low. Okay, I mean, a sexual act can be very exciting, but it's just smells. Yeah, it's just stand up from the pot and look. This is a low place. All right, we should never be in people that certain groups here are in love with this. Or Tony used to tell me about the certain type of incarnation that George Bush creatures are they're game addicted or reality addicted. Even like I mean, just like your teeth, or if you need to get a cavity filled. I mean, it's as a, you get sick to your stomach and you could vomit. This is a low experience for them. There's beautiful things in it, no doubt. But let's remember, I mean, there can't be, well, Matt, this is hell. No, this is some sort of place where heaven and hell converge in some way. And we'll talk about that. Well, I have some theories on that, but I've presented over the years a little bit later. There's always going to be elements of heaven here, and the creatures they just continuously try to pile on more hell. But is Zara still back there? Oh, she's not doing much. I'm going to turn this off. Um, so, but it's a low. We just have to remember this is a low experience. And would you want to do you want to all the pain we've experienced in life and physical pain. And one of my dad turned 80, but he has some friends that have passed. Well, it was this friend actually passed said, he said, if you do any sort of like work or like gardening, or even if you go out and play golf or whatever, he goes, once you turn 50, you'll never, if you do anything the day before, you'll never get out of bed in the morning without pains. And it just gets harder and worse as you get older. And I don't even know what I did to my right shoulder. It's just a mess. I have no idea. It's like you go to scratch, your rotator cuff, tears a little bit, and then it takes like 2 years to come back. This is a low experience, guys. We just get so used to it, and we are designed to be in love with its certain pleasures, and even the way it presents certain pleasures, like the sex act. I mean, the culmination of it is so. It's a few seconds, and well, Matt, you ain't then Roach, you ain't doing it right. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's a low place. There's never be in love with it or covet it. All right, I cut a few minutes off. I was just going into too many tangents. Let me do the summary, the whole reason I'm presenting this, and then I'm sure there'll be a lot of other things related or examples if anybody wants to hang with me for the last 15 or 20 minutes. But the summary, again, it's so simple. It's come into this life, and there is something here, whatever it is. I was going to say trying to lay down a script. It's overwhelmingly successfully laying down a script on almost everyone. So much so, even their thoughts and their actions aren't even of their true selves. It's the download, it's the frequency. And it goes far beyond, again, like I said, oh, we've got to go get this big job and get this education and get this master's degree. It's even, no, the way people interpret what the news is telling them, and why we see the news as absurd and other people see it's completely believable, all these things that Elon Musk is involved in. That's just completely, it's very similar, or it's the exact same thing as the ship of fools sailing. The ship of fools and those on it are on the script, on the download, on the frequency. No matter how bizarre it appears to us, it is normal to them. Okay, we all agree. Well, I guess most people here agree. Now, the key, or the reason I'm making this presentation is, first off, one of the main life goals is simply to break the script. Okay, you could put it that way if you don't like jump off the back of the ship of fools, but it's basically all the same thing. Break the script at every turn. And even, I mean, there's most of what we've done in the truth community has actually been following the script. We'll talk about that on the back end, hopefully. Matt, every time you say you're going to talk about something, you never remember. I agree. I need to do better on that. But here's the key part. It's whole groups of people inside our community. What's really happening with them is they are moving away from the script. They're breaking the script, but they don't really understand what's happening to them. And they certainly aren't putting it in these terms. They're just saying, oh, that event. And again, one last time, I don't need people will comment. I know certain events are obviously cake in a lake. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I got it. But they'll say, well, this, no, but to the first grade truther, everything, this is fake. That's fake. Oh, they're all working for this group and they're all working together. And no, these people, all the minions that were noticed by the first grade, second grade, third, fourth, fifth grade truther, they're not in on it. They would go in a lie detector and be like, my thoughts are my own. I'm doing what I'm doing on my own. Nobody's giving me any instruction, they would say, when they're actually following the exact instructions with means and mechanisms we don't understand, the exact instructions of the not milk or screen. They serve it thinking these are their own thoughts and their own actions. So the first, second, third, fourth grade truther can't explain all this stuff that just doesn't add up, and this can't be right. And obviously, what Elon Musk presents himself as, that's not right. And but it's all the only then the first grade truther or going this goes maybe going up to 10th grade truther, they can only go into their own toy box to look for an answer or between the reality bookends. The only possible answer inside what makes sense is they're all in some way plotting and planning. They're all in on it. And I think again, you know what I think, but I guess I'm giving the first through 10th grade truther a lot of credit that you're noticing these things because you are breaking the script for yourself. Without even knowing what's happening, you're removing yourself from it, or you're on the railing of the ship of fools. You're maybe trying to jump off, or you just jumped off, but you're in a little flotation device with a rope. You're still kind of there, but you're trying to get off, or you don't that, but they just will continue to go into the same toy box for the explanations. When the explanations is if you remove yourself following along the same line of reasoning, if somebody is able to remove themselves the farthest from it, okay, of possible in this reality, it wouldn't. I mean, it already looks like a clown show to us, but it probably would look 10 times worse, or it would break down to a degree that we can't even comprehend if you could get that far away from it. So, Matt, by that you're implying you're not that far. I think I'm farther away from it than most. I think I'm farther away from the ship of fools than most people that have ever, have ever walked the face of the earth. As you are, you wouldn't be at channels like this. But there's still, I think there's ways more to go. Whether we'll get there or not, I don't know if that's necessary. As long as we have our kind of half-page understanding down and our belief set down of who we are and doing what we needed to do here. I don't think that that's, I guess, in terms of checking the boxes of what we need to do for ourselves here on Earth, I would say like dropping the baggage, dropping your luggage. This place to me is you get rid of it here, you dump it here. I don't know exactly how to talk about that. I've mentioned that several times, but I haven't talked about that in detail. That to me is like that's a much bigger box to check than did you move far enough away from it? I don't think that's even necessary. I think we've removed ourselves far enough from it to do what we need to do. You know, if we were to remove ourselves farther from it, it would look even more ridiculous, more insane. But is that a necessary checkbox to avoid a recycling, or you know what I mean? Like I already think we've done enough with those types of issues that Matt, don't you know you're going to be recycled right back? I don't buy it. I believe that system might exist for the regular people that have followed what the screen wants for their entire lives. There's got to be a benefit for we've done the work. We're doing the work. We're separating from it. I don't believe we worked so hard, went into the bog, get out of the bog, formed the right perspectives about how this reality works. I don't think we would have gone through all that and done the work simply to be fooled in the same way the guy down the cul-de-sac would be fooled if there is a trick at death. I believe the work we're doing now or we've done will translate through the moment of death. Why? That's just common sense. Why wouldn't it? If it doesn't translate and we're as screwed as everybody else, well then why does it work so hard, the not milk system? If everybody's just bound to recycle back, why does it work so hard in life? This is common sense. If it was so secure of what it was going to do to you at the moment of death, its trick or its ruse wouldn't be so extensive during life. Okay, this relates to the reason why we say nobody can be woken up. And people will come back, well, Matt, I was able to wake up my cousin. Okay, I'm glad there are exceptions to that. But for the most part, we go to talk to people at the mall, talk to your cousins at the reunion. Nobody comes around. We know that. Okay, no reason to talk about that. The rare exception, that's wonderful, and I'm glad. At some point you woke up and I woke up, so there are going to be rare exceptions. But this relates what we've been talking about to why nobody wakes up, because let's just say I'm talking to my friend Tony, who I've mentioned many times over the years. And okay, he's on the free, let's just say whatever analogy or example are we going to use, he's on the frequency, he's on the download, he's tuned to the preferred not milk radio station, he's on the ship of fools where we've jumped off and swam to the bank. It's all part of the same thing. It just depends how you want to put it. So it's almost like it forms two different reality bubbles. If you are that tuned to the frequency, whatever, you cannot wake up. We know this at this point. It doesn't matter. Matt grabs his laptop and says, "Look at this." A smiling, bubbly, smiling, shiny, happy people, Robbie Bibby, Bobby Bibby moment. The day after, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't. He would find a way. That this is very similar to the conversation I had with another family member I referenced in a video recently, where you show him the weirdest thing of all time. This is the script that they're running. They're on the script. They're accepting the script. It doesn't allow them to say, Matt, I'm not going to buy into your horse shit, but what you just sent me is like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I don't think we'll agree on why it's there. They can't do it. Zara? There's always a reason. Somebody on the script or on the radio station or on the download or on the Ship of Fools, whichever you prefer, there always will be a reason why the AWS terms of service has to mention something that appears to be the zombie apocalypse. There's always a pedestrian or reason in their toy box. And of course, I'm not going to do that same video again. I told you about all the scripts that he ran. Well, Matt, it must be this, or nobody reads those, or there were even comments, excuse me, there were even comments in the video about that, trying to explain it away with like normal reasons that, Matt, they're trying to protect their language so somebody doesn't steal it. And I mean, that's not, that comment came up several times. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to turn this into an AWS revisit that video, but there's hundreds of times in that AWS terms of service where they reference specific Amazon products and things specific to their own set of services, maybe 1,000 things. So that would serve as so you couldn't just copy and paste it. And to compete with AWS, you'd need to be another billion-dollar company. So another billion-dollar company is going to be like, let's save $100,000 on legal fees and just copy and paste AWS terms of service and that it's not there, so the language cannot be stolen. If if like some little tiny business might do something similar to that, but anyway, there's no reason to anyway, the point of that video was to talk about how the person I was interacting with was running the scripts, not the AWS terms of service in and of itself. So come here, Czar. So guys, I'm gonna give you're not gonna like this example, but remember when let me just sum up what was said. When you are before going on to this, because this is important to summarize this. When you're dealing with somebody under the phenomenon of cannot wake them up, it's like literally, metaphysically, they cannot be woken up. They are on a radio station of some sort, whichever example you like. And it's almost like literal. I don't know if I show them the ribby, bobby, bibby, bibby, bibby moment, the day after, he should be very upset the day after. He should be very, very traumatized and upset. And, it's almost like in my reality bubble, this is absurd. But then it goes into Tony's reality bubble. He, in some way, he sees something that makes sense if you're on the frequency. And there's also the phenomenon of why we can never get somebody to sit down. Tony will never sit down next to me here, or where Czar is. Well, Matt, if he was where Czar is, he'd be sitting on your lap. Yeah, he would, but we don't want that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But now she's all wrapped up. Come on. Oh, no. Zara. Come on. Completely wrapped up around like a snare. Zara. Oh my God. No. Very professional production, Matt. You better have some reality observations that make sense once in a while with that horse shit. I think she's out of here. Well, she'll probably come back. But all right, guys, just to summarize that last section, I'm proposing that those on the frequency of the download, you show them the same evidence, of course, that we see. In some way, in most cases, it's almost like it passes through a reality filter. And in their reality filter, it's almost like it's changed in some way. It's like it's not the same evidence. Or somehow they can make sense of the evidence that to us is so ridiculous, like a ribby bibby bibby bobby moment. Or we have thousands of things. The impossible charts and graphs regarding C, how the graph in Mumbai or in India a year ago or 15, 14 months ago goes up and then then becomes a mountain, goes up steep and then just comes right down. Well, that's just not possible if it is what they say. And but see, if I showed that to Tony, he would have an explanation for it. He'd run some sort of script. But what's very interesting is the reality sees to it that I get almost no opportunity to show that to Tony, or no opportunity to, again, he'll never sit down next to me. It's the phenomenon we've talked about many times. If I could say, look at all this stuff on this is my new Mac, my old Mac. I mean, if I could take this old Mac and he became open to it. That's the key. Then it's like you one step off the frequency if you're open to it. And we book us into the room, and I just show him for hours all the stuff. Then it would almost like his reality bubble or whatever the filter is couldn't protect him. I don't know the mechanism, but it's harder for the reality or for the not nilk if somebody's willing to sit down next to me and let's look at it together. That's why it's always done from afar. It's always, we've talked about this many times, but it's worth mentioning. There could be some new people. If you try to talk to someone about something, they'll say, "Oh, I'll look into it on my own." And then, of course, the worst case scenario for us, they find all the rag articles and all the not nilk articles, debunking articles, CNN.com or what is it, Mick West's Metabunk and that nonsense. I mean, they'll find all that, and then they'll just like Tony did, he'll come back to me and say, Matt, he found. Remember, I've said it many times. He found the Popular Mechanics famous article about the submission of job application in 2001. Matt, I listened to you. I went off and I looked into it on my own, and I found the Popular Mechanics article, and it's everything you say is so easily explained away. I don't know why you people are so like you are. I mean, why do you get so caught up in this conspiracy stuff? And then you go and I'll just 30 seconds. I'll tell the rest of the story. I thought, well, this Popular Mechanics article must be impressive. How could it, it's so obvious the things we can see. How could it have so easily dissuaded Tony back to the normie position or back to the position of CNN News? And this is, years and years ago before we kind of knew how reality worked, and we had, certain theories on reality bubbles and the frequency. And I went and I looked at the Popular Mechanics article, and I'm like, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. I mean, it's just nothing to debunk anything. But that's all they need. And I guess if there's a fifth way to explain it, the reality bubble Matt, his is a little different or a lot different than yours. We all assume everyone's is the same. I think it's all the same way of saying the same thing, a different way of saying the same thing. Different reality bubbles, in a sense, is no different than the ship of fools sails. We're on the bank, so we get farther from it, which is no difference from they're getting the download. We're immune to the download for the most part. I think many of us are not, or even we still have work to do in that regard because we're still played, used, and manipulated. He's on the preferred not nilk frequency. You're not. Preferred not nilk radio station. I'm not. You're not. Now we have 5 different ways of essentially saying the same thing. This download theory, they're getting the download, or they're on the radio station, or they're on the frequency. I don't think it's a theory anymore. I think we just have too many examples of this in some way having to be in play. So as you go through your daily activities, live your life, notice how these start to tune yourself in better and better, and notice how these scripts are running in people. I alluded to one yesterday. We're making fun of that wonderful pottery and artwork, where even the magazine article writer is saying these artists are joyous because the sea, this thing, it's the sea, pause, is over. It's over. Now, everybody's following through with this. It's like the video we did, Pass It Along, which is similar to 100 Monkeys. The Pass It Along video, all of a sudden these college students, nobody got a memo, nobody's father or uncle works for secret societies, they all start doing eye black under one of the eyes. It's not, I don't know, they do it under both. They don't understand, they're college kids. They're not in the know to put it under the right or left, depending on the moon pillar and all that horse shit. They just start doing it, and then they all start doing it. It's very similar to 100 Monkeys. It's Pass It Along. It's the script. It's the download. It's the frequency that most people around us are on. This is very similar to Invasion of the Body Snatchers to a degree. That's why they point and scream at us. College kids. Then, 2 years ago, whatever, I noticed that one sock up to the knee, one down. Well, Matt, don't you know that's a Freemasonic? No, this is my first rodeo. I have no idea. No idea. No, they're not doing. The kids in college are not doing it because they're about to be initiated anywhere. It's 100 Monkeys type thing. It's frequency type thing. It's download type thing. And then, what's the other one for college kids? 3 years ago, they all start. If you're a junior or Matt Smith Jr., the junior has to be on the jersey. If you're the third, it has to be on the jersey. If you're Stenson Bennett, the Georgia quarterback, the fourth has to be. There's even some seniors, something senior. If they have a kid, or it has to be on the jersey in all cases. So I guess I don't know. You watch college football 10 years ago, and maybe you see something the second or junior every one game out of 100 you'd see. Now it's all over the place. It's nobody got any memo. Nobody. It's Matt. Well, It's just they saw it and they thought it was cool. Or one of the top stars did that. They're Stenson Bennett the fourth, and then it's not that simple. Trust me, it's not that simple. But Matt, they saw one of the top stars do eye black under one, then they all start doing it. I hear you. That peer pressure thing, or something that would, a fad that would go through high school. I'm aware. I know that that is a possibility. I'm saying it's more than that. It's more than that. It came too quickly. It came, you know, it's a two across the board. The implementation rate, or those that do it that way, is close to 100%, because how many players are a junior or the third or the fourth? I mean, what I'm saying is a lot of the players, I know this isn't a great example, but this is just an example in my life that I noticed. How many can you notice in your life of the scripts being run, or these people are operating like they're all in the ship of fools, or 100 monkeys, or pass it along? So, in other words, if I'm a junior, my dad has the same name, I don't give a shit if that's on my jersey. So I'm saying a lot of people just put my name on my jersey. Why do I really care that it has to say? I'm saying they all do it if they're a Jew. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, it's the frequency, the radio station, and maybe you don't love this example, but back to the other example about the shitty artwork that somebody writes in the article. Oh, the artists are so joyous because now this thing, C, pause, is over. It's over. Well, they didn't all get that. Everybody starts singing that tune. And well, Biden came out and said, I know, but even I'm saying they just start doing what the not nilk wants. Their thoughts are not their own. Their actions, for the most part, are not their own. They would call me completely crazy for suggesting that. Of course, they believe everything is their own, and we have to guard against it as well. There's no doubt most of the things we've done in the truth community has been serving it in some way. And it can be served via certain graduated animal farms where you get stuck on a certain topic. That topic is outside yourself. We need to go research more, and let me go research over here outside myself when we're here in this reality, in this lifetime, to do for ourselves. Drop our spiritual baggage, do certain things for ourselves. Worry about yourself. We're here to get in touch with our spiritual side, some call higher self. And we're going to another incident here, I guess. And any kind of research that's outside yourself is ultimately what the not nilk or screen loves. So most of what we've done in this community has served it. The only way it hasn't served it is if we continue to graduate, if we continue to take that next step and don't get bogged down with, if you go through the weirdness of Tartaria and you just go through that weirdness, and at some point you start, assigning what you've learned in the Tartaria research to reality itself, saying, well, how did reality produce all these maps, and how could it all have been covered up? And there's something weird going on with reality itself. If you use Mudflood to do that, then you're graduating through it. It doesn't matter how we graduated through it. There's different ways I graduated through it. We all came into a certain truth from different angles or different perspectives. But you understand, anybody listening to this, I mean, we all would agree. I'm going to say anybody listening to this would agree that I just know you guys are the old guard. If you get stuck and you're constantly researching Tartaria, well, do you think the not elk or the reality screen would wants that? If you're stuck there, of course it wants that. Let's just say you figure everything out. It was an empire completely erased from the history books. What does that do for you spiritually on the day of your death? What does that do? Are you going to get an award? I passed through into the moment of death, and I was able to expose how they covered this up. What is that? What do you want? A medal? That doesn't do anything for you. The only way is into the bog. That's the bog. The bog traps set for those that begin to wake up in what we call the truth community is in the thousands. It's this research, that research. It's UFOs. It's where I came from. The cake in a lake events, pause, that in some cases involve a school. Or if I'm still waiting to break down the next one, guess what? If I'm still there, I'm doing exactly what the not milk reality would want me doing. I need to use the bog to graduate out of it. And we start noticing weird things about reality itself. And this no real world could pull all this off with all these thousands and tens of thousands of conspiracies, and all nobody ever we never get a win, we never get a breakthrough, our friends never come around to it. There's so many weird things going on. So wait a second, what in general, from a very high perspective or from a cliff looking down, what's going on here? What are its general tactics? Why is it trying to distract all of us? Why is that its role to distract us from what? Oh, our true nature, spiritual self. That you have to get out of the bog. And this is an AM classroom to a degree. I'll always return to the bog from time to time. And people always complain, Matt, you said you weren't backtrack. I'm always going to backtrack. If you're ready to graduate, graduate. Go clear fields. Go graduate. I'm here. I try to keep the old guard as entertained as possible, or to throw a little bit different perspective, or to try to advance our knowledge the best that I can. I mean, how much more can we do when you get it to what you think is a half page? What else is there? I mean, there's not a whole lot. Maybe putting different analogies on it, or different examples, but ultimately I am going to return to the bog because my main goal is to get the bogged down truther, the fifth grade truther, the 10th grade truther to the next level, and to get them to see from a 10,000 foot looking down perspective what's going on here. And it's a transition from research and running after these yellow breadcrumbs into making sure in the 20 years you have left, or the 10 years you have left, or the 35 years you have left here, that you're doing the right things for yourself, cutting ties, attachments. Oh, this is a Jacob Marley chain that I crafted for myself. I need to get out of that. I need to not give my straw man energy and attention. And I see what the reality wants me to believe. He wants me to believe who I really am, and the work for yourself. Um, this is I don't know what I mean. Is this similar to these terms that float around? Inner work, shadow work. I don't know what that horse shit is. To me, it's all half page. It's very simple. It's like someday, it's like, wait a second. Here's more maps, old maps showing some empire. Like, I'm gonna continue to do this. And do I get a sense this is what it wants me to do? This horse, it's probably auto-generating this horse shit. It is. It's a reality conspiracy generation machine. I don't know exactly what that means, but if you have a topic of interest and you dive into it, it will generate it for the rest of your life. No real world could do that. John Keel had a sense of it in Mothman prophecies. Someone told me John Keel went on to expand on this. Mothman prophecies is not about flying around Mothman as much as it's about just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of UFO accounts. Mary so and so in West Virginia, this it flew over her truck where she was in the truck with her grandfather, and it landed right in front of her, and this creature got out. And John Keel's he doesn't come out with it too directly, at least in Mothman, but if you read between the lines, and some other people have helped fill me in on John Keel, it's basically saying these people aren't crazy. These are things really happen to these people. But did a real spacecraft land, or did something from another galaxy come in the way we would understand it, with like metal parts and wheels and engines? And no, something. Who knows? It's something that's generated in some way by reality itself. He would say more than a real spacecraft landed. And how would a person, per the way this part of the presentation is going, someone might say, well, only Matt, that only makes sense per what you're saying, is if they were like big time UFO researchers and they researched it so much, it's almost like they created that reality for themselves. I don't know. I mean, I've never done any looking into any UFOs. It doesn't interest me. Gray aliens don't interest me. Spacemen, and this doesn't interest me. Somebody said read Mothman prophecies. It's the only thing I've ever looked at regarding UFOs and weird lights and things landing in the backyard, because for the reason it was the person told me to read it was Matt. John basically comes to the conclusion that these people are not lying, they're not crazy, but it's not really a spaceman either. It's like somehow reality itself sees to this, and it relates to what we're looking at to a degree. You guys aren't going to like this next example. It's not a great example, but I can only give you examples in terms of the frequency and the download of things I see in my own life, help you tune your ability to notice it as well. And it's related to NASCAR. I'll keep it under 4 minutes. Again, I don't do a whole lot. So this is one area where I don't watch too many sports anymore. One area where I kind of pay attention to. I promise it's under NASCAR. I'm out of here. 3 minutes or less. Okay. It's this theme of driver safety. It's just every other week that look, they have this new car, this new completely redesigned car this year, and it's horrible. Like the back end slides out. You know, you could a great driver could do 100 laps, and on the 101st lap, it just slides out into the wall for no reason. They never talk about that. It's all these drivers come forth about driver safety, and Kurt Busch had a concussion, and he hasn't even come back to race, and these super speedways are not safe, and all these different drivers come out and they talk about cheap parts or broken parts. It's all related to driver safety. And I think this is a good example. I really do. Now, the first grade truth presentation or fifth grade truth is it's all Matt, it's just World Wrestling Federation. All the drivers, this is where we disagree. All the drivers are told what to say. They're all in on it. They all said, Joey Logano, now it's your turn this week to complain about driver safety. And two men in black are going to come in. They're going to sit you down with notes, and you're going to read this on. I don't think reality works that way. Okay, to me at least, I know it doesn't work that way. Seen too many thousands of these in terms of what we looked at over the past 10 plus years. They're all on the download of some kind. They're the not milk reality. Matt, are you saying the not milk reality for some reason wants NASCAR to be and these drivers to be bitching about complaining about driver safety? Yes, it can have its sticky tentacles in tens of millions of different things at once. Its complexity, what it's able to pull off, is in evil genius and in the extreme. It's beyond anything we possibly can imagine. I mean, the people you go to your DMV and look at the workers there, and that it's everybody's infected by it. Invasion of the Body Snatchers in San Francisco, Donald Sutherland, 1978, 1979 movie. What it was able to do, the whole city, except that one woman in the last scene was, I'm not going to do it, was infected by it. So it's everywhere. So everybody starts talking about what now. I know I'm probably over 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Everybody's talking about driver safety, driver safety. They're not getting cue cards. But see, the point is, a first grade, fifth grade truther will notice something's not right with this. So let me look into my toy box for a pedestrian answer, a real world answer, or something between my bookends. Well, for some reason, NASCAR must just be WWE and WWF wrestling. Everything's fake, and they're told what to say. Nope, no. They do it. They're doing exactly what Not Milk Reality wants for whatever that particular bread and circus is, NASCAR, without the people making those presentations being aware in any way, in my opinion, what they're doing. We've just seen too many examples of this. It is first grade truth, in my opinion, a truther to keep saying everybody's getting little instructions. And come on, come on, sir. Just a professional, just a professional. Getting tired of hearing that. Just a professional, that's what. And by the way, guys, if you want to, I don't know if I'm going to do another segment on this. It's getting long, but we look for. I don't know what I can say about this, but certain actors, they or all male actors, it's either the dress or they play a role like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. That I don't know what I can say. They play a certain role um, where a certain orientation, or we've talked about this. Now, one of the ones who struggle with is Denzel Washington, one of the last ones where nobody can pin anything. But that scene, maybe it's enough. In Man on Fire, he places it's called a charger. He said, "What you got in your? That's what you got in your ass right now." He goes, "Do you know who I am?" That's the other guy. "Do you know who I am, Lahamendad? I'm the president, Lahamendad." "You're the president, really?" He's like, Charger, drug mules place it up there, you know what, to smuggle drugs. And he says to the president of Let Die, that's what you got in your ass. He put it in there. All right. And then he actually makes the little, he goes that, he actually makes with his fingers, is that, Denzel probably commands more respect than most. He may like, well, Denzel, this is the minimum you have to do. We're not going to put you in a dress. We're not going to make you play a Basketball Diaries bathroom role, but you're going to have to do that. I mean, and did that check the box for Denzel? Maybe. Maybe. There's actually two now. We struggled with Tom Cruise for a while. Matt, how did you get onto this horse shit? I'm not. I guess I will. I'm not going to go back to anything important after this horse shit. Tom Cruise, we struggled, but we have another example for Tom Cruise. It was in we know for a year we looked. Well, he's not in a dress. He comes out, and the first time he decides to put on the samurai robes, or it is like he says, "I know why you people are so pissed off now. They make you wear a dress," and he's wearing it. So he just said he's wearing it. That's it. That's the checkbox. But there's another one for Tom Cruise for that other role that I can't really talk about. Where it remember in uh, he's Charlie or whatever her name is. She wants to meet with Tom Cruise, and then they play that little blank relationship where Goose says, "Okay, honey, don't be late," and he like fluffs up his or whatever. He puts his collar and he says, "Well, thank you, dear." Remember in Top Gun? That's that role. Okay. It's again, Tom Cruise demands more respect or whatever. It's like, well, everybody's got to check the box, Tom. We're gonna just do a little more subtly for you. For somebody like Tom Hanks, we're going to put him in we're going to check every box times a million. He's going to come out of a damn TV show called Bosom Buddies, where every damn episode he's running around like, what's it, Tootsie. Every damn episode of that stupid ass TV show. And then he's going to play the ultimate role, the one I was talking about, really, Philadelphia. And then he's going to play the other role of the trifecta, the Forrest Gump. You want to talk about check boxes? Tom Hanks has more. It's like those little stickers they put on the damn Ohio State football. Within 2 games in the season, the whole thing's covered with stickers. It's like that's what we used to do in high school. But it's like he's got more check boxes. Like, look at my. It's like a passport for actors in Hollywood. Look at all my check boxes. And some of the actors, like Denzel's, like I don't think that's a badge of honor. Tom. I think I had to check this one too, but I had to do the minimum. And the last one that's a problem is Sylvester Stallone, but we've kind of got out of the way that his first movie was a porn. It's not a joke. It was, they call it soft. I mean, but uh, I never seen it and I never want to see it. He never was in a dress or anything like that, but they sat him down and said, you have two options. You can, after you become famous, we'll put you in a dress, or you can start your career with a porn. Let me take a look at let me look at my co-actress. I'll start with a porn. Maybe that's they. I don't think there's one Jack Lemmon, Some Like It Hot, dress, Marilyn Monroe. I don't think there's one actor. So far, we don't have one that's escaped at least one of these major check boxes. It's different for, seems to be far. I don't know what the equivalent would be on the female side, on what used to be called actress. Can you say that anymore? It used to be best male actor, best female actress for the Academy Awards. That's now changed. But somebody came to me, Matt. It's in some way having sex in a film or something like that, or showing some nudity. It might be, but even that, I'm not sure would be as extensive as the man in the pantyhose. Anyway, guys, how did we're having see, how can I take your serious reality discussion seriously, Matt, if you've devolved into this nonsense? I'm not asking you to. Take it or leave it. Got to have a little fun once in a while. And, like that artwork yesterday, we're gonna continue to have fun. What the hell? I'm gonna present the same damn half page over and over again. I'll just show up. I won't say anything. I'll just put the half page in front of the damn camera. You can read it, and I'll just turn the video off, and that'll be enough. No, it's not enough. We're going to continue to laugh at this horse shit. Thanks, guys.